Hey y'all, welcome back to my podcast. Today we are going to discuss special forces, and I got some bad news for you. Well, I got good news and I got bad news. The bad news is that Kody seems to be doing pretty well. I'm sorry. I know that hurts. This is kind of his element, like proving to be a man and doing all this manly stuff. He really enjoys it. Well, the good news is he gets told to shut up and they shove his face in the mud and he's getting on everybody's nerves. It starts out, it says it's in Morocco in North Africa. All of the people are on a bus and they're sitting around talking. There's a big explosion. People start banging on the bus and they're all pulled out. Bags are placed over their heads and they're put on the ground and almost like they're getting kidnapped or something. They start ripping the bags off the top of the head and they get to Kody. The drill sergeant pulls the bag off Cody's head and says, "How old are you?" And Kody says 57. He goes to a talking head where Cody's talking and he says, I am going to say this at the risk of being sexist. I think men want to be respected and women want to be loved. I don't care if you love me. I care if you respect me. So we know that he cares a lot about being respected. Then they put him through an initiation and they have to do push-ups in a mud puddle, muddy water. And they're doing push-ups, but they don't want them to just do push-ups. They want their face to go all the way into the water. Well, Kody wasn't quite doing that. So they took his hair, his sweet little precious tendrils of hair, and they just shoved his face in the water. His mouth was wide open. Muddy water's just coming out of his mouth. It's great. It's great. And then they tell him they have to strip down to their underwear and dress in uniforms. And this helicopter comes swooping in and they tell him that they have to repel from the helicopter. Kody is actually number 4. He's on Team Alpha. He gets on the helicopter. These drill sergeants cuss a lot. The F word is just thrown around a lot. And I'm trying not to cuss on my podcast. So I'm going to leave that out. I'm going to put it on my YouTube video, but Gia has this hilarious, horrified look on her face as the helicopter is taken off. And I'm going to just tell y'all, I don't know who any of these people are. Any of them. I'm not up to date with Bravo and the Housewives, and I have no idea about that. I had to look up who every single one of these people were. But Gia, I really like her. But she has got this horrified look on her face. It's hilarious. The helicopter is like 100 feet up in the air. One of the first people to come out of the helicopter is Nick Young. He's an NBA champion. Poor guy. And I could tell just by looking at him, he's the type of guy that smiles all the time. That's just part of his personality. He's just a smiley person. So a smiley person is sitting here getting yelled at by a drill sergeant and he gets in trouble for smiling and he can't help it. They get him on the side of the helicopter and his blades are just whipping around. He's crouched down. He's extremely tall and they want him to stand on the helicopter rails up in the air and he's crouched down. They're just yelling at him to hurry up, hurry up. And then they tell him he failed. They are awful. There's another Kody Brown talking head where he says, to do hard things is to be good at being a man. Every once in a while, you need proof of who you are. And I'd be danged if he doesn't jump off that helicopter and do a good job. Oh my gosh. The drill instructor says, good effort, good control, pass. He passed Kody. Kody gets on the ground and he's talking to the drill guy, buddying up to him and says, knowing when to stop is the trick. And the drill guy just looks at him like, is not giving into his charming ways that he has. You quickly learned on this show, you can't be buddies with those people. It just makes them mad. And then the next thing, right after that, they were sent to this little village. And their job was to carry 800 pounds of supplies up a hill. And we're talking like big water canisters and big bags of grain and barrels. And they've got to carry these things up the hill. And Alpha team is going against Bravo team. Kody immediately starts carrying 2 bags of grain. And he's telling another person how to get up the hill after she asks. He tells the girl to zigzag with little steps. In a talking head, he says, I want my children to see that I can do the impossible still. As he's carrying the bags up the hill, one guy stops and Kody grabs his bag and runs off with it. He says, I can do it. He says, I can run it. And then it goes back to the talking head and he goes, keep the old man out. Like he's just trying to prove himself. And Cody's telling all the other people, good effort, let's go. He's the team cheerleader. I haven't ever watched this show, but I'm wondering, this is only the first day. I wonder if you can burn yourself out. He really is kind of going overboard. Like, he is really trying to prove something here. They finally get all this stuff up there. Johnny's having a horrible time. Just can't catch his breath. He can't hardly stand up, and he's complaining of shoulder pain. Kody tells him, Johnny, hang in there, buddy. I got your back. Johnny's like leaning on Kody, and the drill sergeant says, stand up, be a man. Johnny has to stand up. Johnny gets in trouble for leaning on him. And then the staff sergeant says, Alpha 1. Kody says, thank you, staff. And then he tells Johnny real loud next to him, deep breaths out your belly. And then the staff sergeant tells him to shut the F up. I think it's what we all wanted to see. Somebody tell him to shut up. Cody's real quiet. And he says, yes, staff. And the drill sergeant says, that's the last warning. So apparently Kody has been doing that. And they said Alpha gets to ride home in the Jeeps, but Bravo has to run home. And Brittany Cartwright, I'm still not really sure who she is, but she states that she can't run. And she runs for a little bit. And then she says, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And the drill sergeant says, you need to make a decision. Are you going to stay or are you going to run? And Brittany says, I can't run anymore. And she takes off her number and she hands it to him, which apparently means that she's quitting. They say on this show that just showing up, you get paid. You don't have to finish anything. There's no prize at the end. So she hands her number back and she says, I can't do it. I'm going to throw up. And she gives up. So Johnny and Kody are sitting next together in the back of the Jeep. And Johnny is still struggling. And Kody points to his belly and says, keep breathing. I'm telling you how to breathe. Breathe from your belly. What is it with this man and telling people how to breathe? You know, we've discussed what he does when his wives are in labor. He just thinks breathing is just going to cure everything. He's telling Johnny how to breathe, and Johnny's just like, oh my God. Kody tells him to pant and focus on your breathing or something special. And then he starts talking. He says, dude, I hope my talking wasn't wrecking your calm. I was trying to help you calm down. You know how I love quarterbacks. And Johnny's like, Johnny winces and looks out the window like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And this is the man that's going to be sitting next to me when it happens. So they get back to the base and everyone's brought into this square that's in the middle of the pavilion there, and they're given their luggage and they go back to the barracks, and the staff sergeant comes in. He doesn't like Teresa. He calls her Barbie. He says that she has to clean the toilets. And then you see her go out there and clean the toilets, and she's pouring the cleaner like right in the middle of this barrel. What is that going to do? You're not scrubbing nothing or cleaning nothing. You're just pouring stuff in there. I wonder where the last time she cleaned a toilet was. And Jesse Smollett is on here too. And he says that he'll quit if someone tells him to clean a toilet. And then everybody's sitting around talking. And Kody, he's talking about the drill sergeant. He says, it's just a way to get us all peeved off. They are testing us on every level of our emotional state. They're going to find our weaknesses somewhere. It shows Kody sitting on his cot and he's taping up his left ankle. And he looks at Jesse and he says, dude, what's your name? And he says, Jesse. And he says, what's your whole name? And he says, Smollett. And he says, oh, okay. And he shakes his hand. And this kind of makes Jesse mad because that means that he got recognized and he feels like that they're going to start judging him now. I don't really know what happened with him, but I watched the Netflix documentary. Nobody really seems to know what happened with his situation. And Kody says something about second chance. They just show him saying second chance. The drill sergeants are sitting in a little room and they're looking at pictures of all the people, and they decide to pull Johnny Manziel in. Apparently Johnny was a huge quarterback that partied too much and messed up his chances with football, and he has lots of regrets. They said that he won the Heisman, and he just couldn't quit with the drugs and alcohol. And so they're talking to him about what happened and his goals and all that. They put a bag over his head to bring him in and take him out. Why is it a secret where the drill sergeant sleeps? So he comes back in and Kody asks Johnny, referring to, are you going to tell us what they asked you? And Johnny said they were just trying to get to know you. And then they're laying in there in the bed and the lights stay on forever. Finally, about 11:45, it's showing them all asleep. And Kody has positioned his cot so that his back is reclined against his backpack. And he's got tape on his mouth. And what people are saying is that maybe he's a snorer and he's trying not to snore by taping his mouth shut, which I guess that would work. I couldn't sleep if my mouth was taped shut. What if your nose gets stopped up? But I wonder if he sleeps like that at home. I bet you he just snores. He doesn't care who he keeps up. Drill sergeants come in at 11:45 at night, and it says, you got 5 minutes, get dressed. And they make them go out to the pavilion again. They start making them run circuits. They sprint, they jump in water, they do jump steps, they do lunges. At one point, Kody is leaning over and he's tying his shoe, and he gets yelled at. You do your shoes in a minute. Listen when somebody tells you what to do. That's what they said. It was great. It was great. People are wide-eyed and gasping. I mean, this show is just terrible. Just terrible. I just imagine the legal ramifications of this show. Aren't you scared you're going to kill somebody? But these people are wide-eyed and gasping. They can't catch their breath. And the staff is yelling, there's no crying in special forces. Anyway, they go back to the barracks. Kody is just like looking down at the floor. He ain't got much to say now. And it shows the episode coming up where Kody is boxing and gets punched a few times, once in the face. Gia is over there. Her nose, might be broken. It's bleeding. She's all swollen up. And they're doing something where they put them underwater. That's a lot. I don't know that I could do that. Like I said, I think this is something that Kody is going to do well in, because he loves to prove that he's a man. And this is just the perfect opportunity to do that. He is all about fitness and being able to do stuff. And he seems to be doing well. It really surprises me how he is just taking the words that are being said to him and just doing exactly what he's told. Like, he isn't saying anything back. He is trying to be charming, and he gets shut down quick. That's fun to watch. You can tell, like, some of his personality is not going to work with these people. I think it is a good reality check, but I think he's going to end up doing well if he doesn't burn himself out. The next one comes out next Thursday. I don't have Fox in our house. I have Hulu, which means that it comes out the next day. And I work, which means I can't watch it until Friday night. I can't release a podcast until late Friday night. So here we are, late Friday night. I'm giving you the podcast, and I was really surprised because I thought it was just going to be real boring, but it wasn't that boring. It was very interesting, and like I said, he surprised me. I think it's a reality check, but I don't think that the reality is really going to hit him. I think he's just going to think that he's awesome, and that's the reality he's going to get. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye. That's it for today. If you like my podcast, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to reach me, you can always reach me at redflagrewatch@gmail.com. Thank you for joining me today. See you next time.